Hello, fifth grade ELA. Before we get started with close reading today, check out our new ELA weekly outline. Up until this point in close reading, up until this point in remote learning, we have only had close reading. So we will continue close reading Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Monday is day 1, main idea. Tuesday is day 2, craft and structure short response question. And then Wednesday, just like when we were in school, Wednesday is your mastery day. So you will have main idea and a craft and structure short response question for a new text. Now what's new is here. Thursday and Friday are EL. We have a new EL topic. It's going to be super exciting. So make sure you keep note of this new schedule. All right, so let's get started with close reading today. Today is day 1, main idea, and the text we are reading is Harlem by Langston Hughes. So the 3 things you should have out and open right now. Number 1 is scratch paper for taking notes as you go. Number 2, the text itself, which you found in Google Classroom. And number 3 is this video. All right, let's get started. Some glows and grows from last week. Last week, the 2 texts you read were the recipe of a coral reef text and the growing a pollinator garden in your backyard text. A glow when answering short response questions. We did an awesome job. We rocked at starting our short responses with a claim and including evidence to support it. So we did an awesome job writing claims that answers the question and including evidence from the text. But a grow for us, that next step that we need to work on is explaining the evidence in our own words. So it's one thing to include evidence from the text to support your claim. That's super important. But something that makes your argument even stronger is explaining it in your own words. So why does that piece of evidence support that claim you're trying to make? Explain to us in your own words. Make that connection happen. Our SRP, or Strategic Reading Plan, for reading this text today, we've set ourselves up, which means we are on step 2, previewing the text. We got to figure out that genre. We got to remember what the genre frames are, those thinking jobs, and we want to look at the title to help us better understand it. So let's preview this text today. Take a look at the whole text, skim it, and try to ask yourself, what genre do we think this is? Pause the video now and take a quick look. All right, so you probably noticed that there were some stanzas, some atypical or not usual punctuation and spacing, and this overall looks like a poem to us. So yes, indeed, we are reading the poem Harlem by Langston Hughes today. So if we are reading a poem, our genre frames or our thinking jobs as we read the poem is 1, what is the literal meaning? And number 2, what is the deeper meaning? What is the poet trying to tell us with these words? What deeper meaning or message do they want us to walk away with after reading this poem? In our journey to figure that out today, we're going to have a transferable takeaway to help us do that. One specific thing we're going to focus on that helps us get to that deeper meaning. Today and every day, when you're reading a poem, the author's use of metaphors in this text really brought that lesson learned to life. A metaphor is when an author compares 2 things by saying that one thing is something else to paint a vivid picture or to help explain an idea for us. Pay attention to metaphors as you are reading, as they often reveal an important aspect of the author's message. So today and every day, we're going to pay attention to the metaphors that poet used to help us understand the deeper meaning or that message that they want us to get. Since this is a poem and it's a little bit shorter, but every single word really packs a punch and is important, we're going to read it through once. And then we're going to read it through again, stopping at each point for the questions to help you understand it as we go. So our first read, Harlem by Langston Hughes. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore, and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load. Or does it explode? And the meaning of deferred is to put off to a later time or postpone. So this poem packs a heavy punch. Let's go through it step by step and answer those questions to help us better understand. Harlem by Langston Hughes. What happens to a dream deferred? Take a look at our first Google form question today. Number 1. Based on the title and the first line, what do you expect the poem to be about? Hint, check that definition of deferred at the bottom. Based on the first line, what do you expect the poem to be about? Pause it here, go back to the poem as you need, and answer the question. So when I read this, I expect the poem to be about something along the lines of what happens when you don't follow a dream or postpone your dreams, but let's keep reading to figure it out. Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat? Let's pause there. That transferable takeaway today, all about metaphors helping us understand a deeper meaning, that's going to help us understand what the author wants us to know about deferred dreams. Let's take a look at question number 2. Number 2, why does the poet compare unfollowed dreams to the stink of rotten meat? What message is he trying to tell us here? Think about comparing something to rotten meat. What does it tell us about a deferred dream? Pause the video now and answer that question. Nice job noticing what the author wants us to understand about an unfollowed dream with this metaphor. It is now time for our secret question. Today's secret question is, what is your go-to snack? I want to know, you walk into the kitchen, what is the first thing you hope to see in your cabinet? For me, it is Cheez-Its, but I want to know what your go-to snack is. Take the time now to answer in the Google form. All right, let's continue reading. The last line we read was, does it stink like rotten meat? Or crust and sugar over, like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load. Or does it explode? There are a ton of metaphors here for what happens to a dream deferred. Let's take a look at maybe it just sags like a heavy load. By saying maybe it just sags like a heavy load, what does the poet want us to understand about not following our dreams? Remind yourself of what the it is in this metaphor and ask yourself, if you're comparing something to sagging like a heavy load, what does it tell you about that thing? Pause here and answer question number 3. All right, so as we read this poem, we noticed a lot about how the author used metaphors to paint a vivid picture or help us better understand that deeper meaning or that thing that the author wanted us to know. Considering the deepest meaning, evidence from the text, and accuracy about the text, so that literal meaning, the deeper meaning, what is the main idea of this poem? Right here is your space to jot your main idea. Now, it looks like one line, but remember, just like we did in school, a main idea jot should be at least 3 sentences long. You can use this checklist to help you guide your main idea writing as you go. So check off these things as you include them in your main idea here, which should be at least 3 sentences long. All right, let's see some awesome main ideas.